Hey, what's going on, everybody? Will Smith here with my good friend Eddie. And right now we're gonna kind of we're just gonna have a shoot from the hip conversation because it's something a lot of us veterans are very much used to doing. There's a big stigma with applying for disability, how to do it, how it affects you, short-term and long-term, and what the benefits can be. And there's just a lot of people who are very much misinformed. And sadly, this guy's one of them. I'm gonna let him tell you his story.
Yeah, so get out of the Navy back in 2016. I had about 7 days to get all my get out of the military stuff together, so my package.
7 days.
We did the TGPS class. I had like a couple days. I got my medical. They're like, okay, we got to go to medical tomorrow because you get out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go to medical.
The Navy's on top of things.
Unfortunately, the officer there had a really pathetic attitude. Now thinking back, it's a pathetic attitude for any leader to have. And he told me that, you know, there's no reason for you to really sign for disability because like you didn't like get shot or anything. So, you know, you're kind of a, you know, if you sign up.
What the hell kind of a mindset is that?
It's a disgusting one, man, because of what it does to somebody. Because, you know, you don't think that things necessarily affect you until you get out and have time to kind of settle your situation around you. When you're in it, you don't realize how things can affect you on the back end. Like just like you could think you're okay. And not know that you're having something that really is going to bother you years down the road in your sleep, consciously, subconsciously. And so like I was pretty much told not to sign up for disability. And here I am now, years later, 8 years after I get out of the military, dealing with my disability process. And if it wasn't for a couple of great people, I would still have a really uphill battle. In the PNW here, we have a lot of great resources for filing for disability. But it was like I was cautioned away from doing it. I was pretty much told like, hey, this is not for you, really. And I didn't. So I of course, me, young, I'm like, so I don't need it. You know, I don't have anything going on.
Yeah.
My joints aren't messed up. My knee isn't trashed. I didn't break my back when I fell 10 feet under my spine on a steel deck plate. No, it's all good, baby. And that attitude, like, I can joke about it now, but even 6 months ago, signing up for disability was so daunting because I didn't want to, you know, a lot of us in the military, we deal with something called, it's this feeling, we don't deserve something.
I was going to say forced trauma bonding, but yeah, I like that better.
Forced trauma bonding, that's definitely a thing. But we have this imposter syndrome is what it's called.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
We feel that we don't deserve something, even though we might. Or even though it doesn't matter if we deserve it or not.
I wasn't a Ranger. I wasn't infantry. I didn't get hurt.
Yeah. I wasn't a Navy SEAL, so I'm not going to deal with my terrible tinnitus or my back issues. The fact that my wrist, my grip strength has dropped because of my severe carpal tunnel from a lot of gripping and pulling on the line. As a bosun's mate, that's what we do. We deal with nautical things. So I think the culture, the negative culture surrounding it, is what really impeded on me being able to do that, and that's what hurt me the most. Because now I'm playing catch up, telling all the people I served with that I was in charge of, or that I was put in a position to lead. That hey, you don't feel ashamed. Don't let anybody shame you out of doing with this. File for disability. If you're at JBLM, go see Josh Wielden. You know he's one of the representatives down there.
Josh is the man. Yeah.
Find somebody to help you walk through this path because I didn't have that.
Yeah. So I mean, so it sounds like it was a combination of a lot of things, like you said, the poor leadership, the imposter syndrome, the lack of guidance, but I mean, we're a huge veteran community, and we're growing every single day, especially with Josh over at PNW Vets. We have a really special thing going on. We've got Coast Guard, we've got like 5 Navy bases, the biggest Army base this side of the Mississippi. Like, there's a huge culture of veterans here. So it's good to have people with your story to tell. I know a lot of people now, I think it's just a part of the process as they're getting out to go through the process. But me being a loan officer, I talk to a lot of veterans. Like, it's almost exclusively who I actually work with. And a lot of times, I'd say probably 75% of the time I talk to them, I ask them, hey, have you filed for disability? Because that can help them be exempt from the VA funding fee. And honestly, a lot of the times I get the answer no, which kind of blows my mind. And some of the reasons that I got for that was because the imposter syndrome. Oh, I didn't hurt myself. I'm fine. Nobody thinks anything's wrong. Yeah. So there's that, but then it's also they actually felt that if they got disability, they wouldn't be able to work. Not true. They thought that if they were to get disability, it would affect their GI Bill and stuff like that. Again, not true. There's just a lot of things that were misconceptions, and they had no idea. Like it was just, it's like the whole rumor mill.
Yes.
Like people just talk out their butt, not knowing what they're talking about.
And
People
the
hear
worst
it.
part about that is too that bad news always travels faster than good news. So it's
Yeah.
there's a lot of, I can't name her name, but there's a lady who works with the VA, and she does a great job of denouncing that type of rhetoric and counteracting it by putting out positive information on the spot. So she's very active on the PIW Vets Facebook page and stuff like that, and it's super helpful. But it's hard to send one positive message to other people. So I really think that like videos like this are helpful because you start with a little bit of negative news, and someone's like, yeah, I've gone through that crap.
Yeah.
And then you can say, wait, it doesn't have to be like this. So right now, it took me, 3 pieces of paper and somebody who knows what they're doing at the WDVA, and my tinnitus is already taken care of. My back claim, my joints, and my wrist, my grips, my shoulder issues, my knee, it's all coming next, and my sleep issues as well.
Yeah.
But without the process, without kind of taking off my mask of I'm okay, I wouldn't be able to say that. Like, it's no fun for me to think about the possibility of having grandkids and me trying to get around near them.
Bro, my wife tells me that all the time.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I mean, what it boils down to is like me. So I was a commo guy. I worked on freaking radios and stuff. I'm not out there, fighting fires and getting shot at and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, people still fall. People still get injured. Mm-hmm. If you're a commo guy or like a medic and you're in a vehicle that gets blown up, there you go.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to like the Navy. You guys are exposed to chemicals,
terrible
like
chemicals,
like
man.
fire stuff to put out fires, all sorts of stuff.
F, yeah, that's a great idea,
Yeah,
guys.
exactly. and you don't know what it does to you in the moment because we're in the military. We do what we're told, and then you don't think about it. But then you find out years down the road, oh, these have been linked to causing cancer. Like me, I was in a hotbed over there in Mosul, Iraq, the burn pits.
Yeah.
Very hot topic. So we didn't know we weren't supposed to be burning lithium batteries and tires and this and that, but come to find out, so have you heard of the Hunter 7 Foundation?
No, I have not.
Okay, so the Hunter 7 Foundation was actually a big part of having the Burn Pit Exposure Act. Yeah, actually enacted in Congress, but so Hunter 7 was actually the call sign for Robert Bowman, who was a platoon sergeant in my company. So a lot of people, even though they're not getting blown up, stuff just down the road from being in the military. And knowing all these things, knowing what you can and can't claim, just talk to somebody. Because if it doesn't benefit you now, it'll benefit you later.
100%, brother. 100%. That's so important.
I just got done talking with a surviving spouse whose husband was in Vietnam. What he was exposed to with the Agent Orange caused him to, pass away. But because it was linked to his disability, she now receives compensation for the rest of her life, and she's got the ability to use his VA loan. So, I mean...
And that can make or break whether a family survives.
Yeah.
The families that involved with military service are really the driving factor why people sign up often. And it also gives us something to look forward to, having a life after the military or coming back to it when you're on leave. Like, I was a geo bachelor, so I really understand the family aspect. And things like that open up doors to keep families whole after a piece is violently ripped out of it, right?
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking stuff. Like, hearing stuff like that is tough for me to hear because it's so common. It really is. I don't think there's ever a better time than right now to look at ourselves and say, okay, life's good, but it could be better, right?
Yeah.
Like in Wonder Woman, the second one. But it really could be better if we focus on counteracting that negative culture of about how we deal with better mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health, but also physical health.
Not
everyone's
all
talking
wounds
about,
are visible, right?
Not all wounds are visible at all.
Yeah.
No, definitely, and not all scars, can be get rid of with plastic surgery. We have a lot of internal scars. I think that a big issue especially for the Navy, and I'm going to say it, I say it a bunch of times, but I turn a lot of flack for it. But suicide in the Navy, like why are people that are not directly in combat zones? It sounds ridiculous to even say. So I'm going to say that the government says why are people not in combat zones dealing with killing themselves? They come back from war and not kill themselves. Surviving combat, killing themselves. What are all these things? Instead of looking at it like that, we should look at it like, what can we do to improve the lives of veterans and give them lives after they leave the military. Because not just are you removing your identity and all these things, but after you get out of the military, you have to kind of redefine who you are and start living. That start living part isn't just all mental, a lot of it's physical. And a big part of that is taking care of your injuries and stuff like that. It's hard to do that without the right resources. All we've heard for years is how bad the VA was. Now I went to the summit and they're actually taking steps to change that.
Yeah.
That gave me hope, right?
Well, I mean, and even in the military, just even assuming you're active in the military, there's that culture of you shouldn't be going to sick call.
Yeah.
You're just a
real.
week if you're going to sick call, or you're just trying to skip out on training. Like, there are some people who do take advantage of the system. Same thing with the welfare system. Here in the civilian sector, people take advantage of it, but legitimately, there are people out there that have injuries that need to get themselves taken care of. They need to break outside of that culture and do the right thing for themselves. Not only for the moment, but you've got a lot of life left to live. And if you're going to live it to the best of your ability, you need to get yourself taken care of.
And if you don't start, you're giving into that negative culture. We have to come at it. If we start taking fire from somewhere, you have to deal with that. You can't just be like, oh, it is what it is. Lay down my firearms, give it up. No, you have to combat it. And so I would always say to my friends who are in combat roles is don't just start. When you leave combat, find something else to combat, as long as it has a positive outcome. Whether it's drinking too much or thinking too much, right? Do something positive. Don't get stuck in inaction. Take action.
The two together is dangerous.
Don't I know, brother? Do it, I know. That's why I don't drink as much as I used to. Healthy boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And when you're going through things, you got to kind of grow through them. You can't just sit there and struggle through it. And that's why I wanted to meet up with you today to make this, to let people know if you're watching this and you're thinking about not doing it, not continuing with this whole fight against your own physical injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Don't quit, because you're on quitting. On the other side of quitting is nothing. There's nothing. On the other side of your negative emotions about it is nothing. But if you persevere and you have a team, you don't have to go through it alone. Like the coolest thing about, in my opinion, about PNW Vets, it's kind of like Chat GPS. You can type in any message. I'll get like or question. I get like I go on there, brothers and sisters, I need your help. Blah blah blah. I literally say it just like that. Bombarded with messages.
Do you know how many people we're actually up to now?
Everything. I think like over 11,000 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
we have a huge population there on a Facebook page, PNW Vets, and we're only growing every single day. We just had I was there for the a second year anniversary PNW Veterans Coalition.
Yeah.
I was there with Joshua and Tony Dayton and all those guys.
Oh yeah. I was sick, so I couldn't go. I don't want to screw anybody up.
Stay home, bro. Stay home.
No, it was bad. It was bad, man. But that's so awesome that we have an environment that's so rich in helping others and providing hope. And with hope builds faith. With hope and a couple other people, we can all hope together. We can build faith. So I think we're turning this in the proper direction as long as we continue to have conversations, continue to draw exposure to the issues that we're facing as a community, because no one's going to advocate for people who won't advocate for themselves. I've noticed that time and time again. If you're not going to advocate for yourself, eventually people are going to give up. We have to advocate for ourselves and also the people around us in our community that aren't going to.
Yeah.
So I got called out on my own podcast, sitting with Josh and a couple other people, and I said, I'm gonna be the first one to say it. You're right. I'm not doing this. I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna deal with my issues.
Got to, man.
1 week later, I was at my hearing appointment, and they're like, "Yeah, no wonder you talk so loud. You can't hear." I'm not gonna swear or anything.
My wife
like,
tells me that all the time.
Yeah, and and the ringing, all these things that bother you when you don't want to be bothered. When you're in a place of peace, there's quiet, there's not noise. Like there's a lot of reasons vets sleep with white noise. Figure that out. Invest. Maybe
I sleep with a fan on every night.
Yeah, maybe investigate why is this?
Yeah.
Well, look, it says on this Facebook post that it turns out this guy got compensated. He has hearing issue. Tinnitus, really bad sleep. Okay, well maybe I should do a sleep test and a hearing test. You never know.
Yeah.
Figure out what's wrong, deal with the problem, and get back to living life. Because wow, like it's not even about the financial compensation for it. Like I've taken off days for my hearing, and I get terrible migraines. I can't even freaking get through my day.
Yeah.
What a better way to deal with that than not having to stress about the bills being made,
Well, but it makes a better quality of life for your house, for your
Yes.
family, for your kids and everything. And I mean, even me, for example, because so I'm 100% permanent and total after 12 years of service in the Army. I took all my lickings. For that alone, my children get to have their state tuition waiver here in the state of Washington. I mean, because I took it upon myself to get myself looked at, get myself taken care of. Now I'm taken care of, and so is my family.
And now you don't have to literally physically kill yourself, working yourself into the ground.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's one injury away from financial crisis.
Yeah.
And if you already have injuries on top of that, you can't just go on like that. It's a senseless life. And I've advocated for that for a long time, but I started taking drinks of my own medicine recently. So it's a step in a positive direction, and I'm encouraging my friend group now to deal with it. And there's so many resources out there, and if anybody can always just reach out to you or anybody.
Yeah.
And usually people here are pretty helpful in our area.
Yeah. I mean, and this is what it all boils down to is talk to somebody. A lot of us have been there before. You know, we're all across different branches of the military, have a lot of similar experiences. If you don't know, ask somebody. That's what it all
100%.
boils down to. Take care of yourself, get yourself looked at, and you know, you're hearing it directly from a person who dealt with it. He shied away from it for over 8 years until he finally, you know, took his own advice after he got called out, got himself, you know, looked at, and now he's got a better quality of life.
It's worth it, man. It's worth it, y'all. Definitely.
So, hey, right here from the Veterans Park in Buckley, Washington, I want to appreciate you guys for watching this, and thanks a lot for coming on here, man.
Happy to be here, man. Much love, y'all. Take care of yourself.
Take care.